What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, and I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Today, talking about these New York Giants injuries. Obviously, Thursday night preseason game, a lot of excitement. Giants get a win, 14-3. The running backs popped off. Some of the linebackers looked really good. The cornerbacks. It was a good performance from the Giants. Offensive line was solid, but they're still dealing with some injuries. And in fact, they suffered a couple injuries in that game that might be a little bit costly for them going forward as we move through the rest of the summer and head into the start of the regular season in September. So I pretty much just want to update you guys on a couple of these key injuries, discuss them, how the Giants can respond to them, what does it mean for their future, and really just everything surrounding these injuries coming out of the Giants practice. So before I dive into all that, make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Ring the bell so don't miss an episode, and comment your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants. Without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about Drew Lock first and foremost, because Drew Lock dealing with an injury, not necessarily looking so good. I guess it was reported to be a hip contusion or something like that. Let me see, pulling it up. Drew Lock has an oblique strain and hip pointer, according to Jordan Rannon of ESPN. He's likely to miss a couple weeks, and when Brian Daboll was discussing this recently, he kind of alluded to the fact that the Giants might need to sign a quarterback because the only two healthy quarterbacks on their roster right now, Daniel Jones and Tommy DeVito. Now, both Jones and DeVito are going to be playing next week in the upcoming preseason game. There's no doubt about that. But how much do they want Tommy DeVito and Daniel Jones out on the field, risking further injuries to the most important position in all of sports, which is quarterback? I'm not sure. So not having Drew Lock for the next couple of weeks, again, it's only a few weeks, this injury is what it sounds like. So maybe he's ready for the start of the regular season to be the Giants' backup. Obviously not coming off of a great performance in that Thursday night preseason game, but still paid on that 1-year, $5 million deal. It's nearly fully guaranteed. He's going to be here for the rest of the season, and he's going to probably be the QB2 unless Tommy DeVito balls out in these following games and takes that job from him, which is totally possible. You guys know how I feel about Tommy DeVito. But with Drew Lock injured now, I do think the Giants are going to have to look at the free agency market and try to pick somebody up to be a second or third string guy. Now, if you go ahead and you look at the available free agents right now, I'll just list some of the names that pop up on Spot Rack. Ben DiNucci, Logan Woodside, Nathan Peterman, Trevor Siemian, Matt Barkley, AJ McCarron, Blaine Gabbert, Brian Hoyer, and Ryan Tannehill. So obviously Tannehill is a pretty good player. I doubt that the Giants go ahead and sign a player of that level. In fact, they're probably not going to sign anybody on this list. I would argue that there's going to be someone sitting down on a practice squad somewhere looking for some preseason playing time that they're probably going to pick up. But nevertheless, keep an eye on that. The Giants very likely to sign a backup quarterback. Once they do, of course, we will update you on that right here on the channel. But this injury, not so good for Drew Lock. Like I said, he didn't play well on Thursday night. He had an interception. He missed Neighbors, who broke open a couple of times, didn't throw the ball his way. Wasn't the best performance from him. Then he gets knocked out of the game with this injury, and apparently it's a little bit more severe than we initially thought. So he'll be out for a few weeks, missing some valuable time to kind of wash away the stain that was that preseason debut for the Giants. And in the meantime, Tommy DeVito is going to see far more playing time and has a very good chance of taking that QB2 job, which you guys know I'm excited to watch some Tommy DeVito play. But moving on into the second major injury that I want to discuss in this episode, Deontay Johnson, he also left during that Thursday night game. He had some sort of an ankle injury, and it's now revealed that he is week to week with this injury, dealing with an ankle strain, I believe it is, or ankle sprain rather. So he'll be out probably this upcoming week, maybe the following, maybe even out all the way up into the regular season. The problem here is that Deontay Johnson, while he has looked really good this summer, he's made a lot of plays in practice. He made some really big plays on Thursday night. He had a sack. He had a pass defense. He was looking really good. But is his position on this team guaranteed? I don't think so. When you look at the linebacker situation, and Dan Duggan of The Athletic did a good job of breaking it down on Twitter today. He mentioned Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden. They're locked in as starters. They gave Matthew Adams $967,000 guaranteed, and he's a lock because of special teams, another linebacker on the roster. And they gave Carter Coughlin a high amount of guarantees. He's also a proven core special teams player and linebacker. Then they drafted David Masua in the 6th round, a rookie who's probably going to stay with the team. So when you're looking at it, that's a lot of linebackers already kind of guaranteed to make this roster. Deontay Johnson had to give the Giants a reason to make that space for him, and he was doing that. He was on his way to making the case for a roster spot. But now with this injury, he's probably missing a week or two, missing some very valuable reps and playing time in the preseason that he could win himself a roster spot. And I don't know. I think that it's going to be a little bit of shaky ground that he's standing on by the time we get to the end of the preseason if he's not able to get out there for a couple more games. So, like I said, I was very impressed with Deontay Johnson in that Thursday night game. I think he's been very impressive throughout the summer. And the Giants, they don't have like the greatest backup talents in that linebacker room, but their starters in Okereke and McFadden are probably locked in. Johnson was playing well enough, though, to give fans some question and say, hey, maybe he does push for that second starting job next to Bobby Okereke. Also in the mix here is Darian Beavers, who had a really good performance on Thursday night. If you guys remember him a couple years ago, he was a 6th-round pick, didn't make the roster last season, but hung around on the practice squad, and he looked pretty good on Thursday night as well. So the Giants have a lot of depth here at this position. So this is a costly injury for Deontay Johnson. He's definitely going to want to get back on the field as soon as possible. But unfortunately, we all know how ankle sprains are. Sometimes they're out a week. Sometimes they're out 6 weeks. It just really depends. So Deontay Johnson's going to be week to week. Hopefully he doesn't miss too much time. He's gotten a lot of reps with the first team. Again, maybe even pushing for a starting job, let alone a roster spot. But not looking good here. Unfortunate injury for him. Unfortunate injury for Drew Lock. Like I mentioned with Drew Lock, the Giants are likely to go out there and find another quarterback to add as a third stringer. With Deontay Johnson, I don't see them doing that for the reasons I mentioned. I think they have a lot of linebackers that they're interested in giving playing time to, whether that be Darius Masua, whether that be Darian Beavers, Carter Coughlin, whoever they want to get on the field. They will get on the field. So don't expect them to go out there and sign another linebacker. I would expect them to go out there and sign a backup quarterback, though. And really, just generally speaking, both of these guys, pretty costly blows to the team. Again, Deontay Johnson being one of those guys that was pushing for a starting job. And then Drew Lock, I mean, we've had plenty of discussions about how people around the league, fans around the league, fans for the Giants feel like he has the upside as a backup to maybe get some reps in the regular season and really show something. Well, having this injury, that's pretty bad for him, because he needed to get more reps onto the preseason field and really show that he could take over in a starting capacity if there is an injury to Daniel Jones at any point this season. He really didn't show that on Thursday night. Now he's injured. He's not going to have a chance to show that. So I don't feel completely confident in the Giants' backup quarterback, Drew Lock. I really do think the opportunity is here now for Tommy DeVito to play well in these next 2 preseason games and honestly win that QB2 job. I think it's open for the taking. So I'll definitely be keeping a close eye on that. I'm definitely excited to continue to discuss and react to all of this Giants news here on Fireside Giants. Of course, Wednesday night live streams. Make sure you tune into that. And we're going to be giving you all the breakdowns on this upcoming preseason game and reactions afterwards, of course. So make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode, and comment your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants. Without further ado, we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Giants.
Perfect.